Hi Kate, welcome to Doceri coupled with Haiku. What you're looking at right now is the Haiku launch portal. This would be what you see when you first log into Haiku, and what this is, it just kind of gives you an overview of obviously any classes that you have in here, your calendar, due dates, announcements, recent grades, and you can read the rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a class in Haiku, and my hope is that at the end you will be able to create your own class with little help from the outside, and help build any classes in the future that you may want. So we'll go ahead and create a new class here. Class name, obviously, whatever your class you're teaching is. I'm just going to call it test. I'm going to forego the short summary and leave the default settings. So this page would help you define the start and end dates for any classes you might be teaching. So if you're teaching for a quarter or for a semester or for a year, here's where you'd set the start and end dates. I'm going to go ahead and do no schedule for this. So now we've created our own classroom, and this class is unpublished, so no one will be able to see it until you are done adding your own content to here. And so obviously you can see there's a couple different buttons that we're going to have to learn here, but the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add content, and because they have their first page created for us, so we'll add the go to add content block. And here in the first tab we have content, and from here we can do on-page text, web links, files, images, audio, video, Flickr, and YouTube. Now the ones I skipped, NoteFlight is a paid service, so we're just going to forego that. And mini sites is something that we would do if we were uploading a site that we developed ourselves, or a JavaScript or Adobe Flash site. And then the last one at the bottom here is embed the web, which is a really cool feature because it allows us to draw from websites of other services and embed that right into our Haiku pages here. That's something I'll go over with you later because I think it's really powerful, but for the just getting you started, we're just gonna stick with the basics here. So the first thing, so that's the first tab. The second tab here is to insert a calendar or upcoming events, and what these would help do obviously is help keep kids in the know for due dates, for assignments, assessments, or field trips, what have you. So depending on what you want to add, that you select one of these. And the last is connect and assess. I'll try to touch on each one of these things briefly as I go through them, but here's where you would add your announcements, post tests or quizzes, hand out assignments, start a discussion board, take a poll of your class, or start your own wiki project even. So we're going to stick with the basics and just go back to content and just add text. So the first thing you have to do is give it a title. The title, I'm just going to give a generic title. Sample title. Oh, go back to that. So I accidentally exited out of there because I hit enter. You'll notice that I clicked the drop down menu there, which gives you these options, and we're just going to go back to edit so we can finish what we started. what's really nice about Haiku is it gives you a lot of features in terms of things that you can add to this blank template right here. Of course, we can just type in, some, sample text. I spelled sample wrong, but I'm sure you can bear with me. You can also add images, from the computer or a link that you might have, and they'll get embedded right in there. Highlight, change fonts, add superscript or subscripts, and what'll be really nice for mathematics is you can actually insert functions and equations through this feature right here. Try to start with something simple. Say A plus B. Oops. Say A minus B, I guess. Equals. Oh, it's not inputting on the iPad with equals. You want an equals over there for me, Tom? Thank you. And we'll just add that, just to add it. Save, and that gets posted right in there. The other things you might, consider doing, changing the font styles, the size, all those things. If you've ever used an editor like this before, you're kind of familiar with those features. And so once we're done, we're just going to hit save, and lo and behold, the sample text pops right up there. Alright, so now that we have this, you'll notice right over here it says unpublished. That's because this is automatically published. The classroom itself is not published, but say you wanted to have you want to develop all your material ahead of time, but you only wanted one thing to show up at a given point in the class, you would unpublish in order to hide that from your students, and then publish it as soon as you were ready. Another thing that I want to show you is that once you create these different elements in terms of content blocks, they're not static. You can actually move them over. So I want to move it to this section over here, and automatically resizes, which is pretty neat, which is really nice. Go ahead and add another content block here, and say we want to add an image. This gives us different options. We can do a thumbnail with slideshow, or just a slideshow that sits with one image, or just have all the images in a row. Let's call it images.
Thumbnails on page with slideshow.
Sure. Choose a file. See if we can find a picture here.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. There should be something in the slideshows there.
Slideshows?
They're not gonna. It's only gonna be PowerPoint though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And we don't have any. Is there a way? Go again to choose files. And then go to Google Drive.
Google Drive.
And then, is there anything in there? Student, do I have any kind of, go to instructional guides, go to week 1, go to visual activity, there you go. That's good. That's a Google slideshow.
Alright, so let's do that one then. So obviously you can add different libraries here, not limited to one library. Oh, you know what? It doesn't support that type.
It doesn't support what?
It doesn't support the Google Slides.
Interesting.
It wants to do just regular image files. You can still do Google. That's something we can do with the embed the web. But we'll visit that later. For right now, we'll just stick with an iPhoto library, and hopefully it's not too massive. No. Well, okay, just know that if you have like regular image files, you can do that.
Interesting. Good to know, though. Those are good things.
Yeah. So we will go, and I will just go ahead and show and embed the web here. This gives you different options in terms of sites they've supported in the past, which they actually give you explicit instructions on how to add their elements to there. You can add or embed elements from anywhere using this service, but this one just kind of makes it easy for you to find based on the category. So if we wanted to use, say, Google Forms.
Do a search for argumentative writing.
Oh man, it's not going to have anything like that. It's just going to have services.
Oh.
So we'll say identify assessment. I'm going to share it. I'm going to copy that. Oh, that's the link though. We need the embed.
How do we do that?
I don't know. Maybe I should really just go back to this later.
That's cool. Just keep going.
Maybe
you got a great cadence. You're moving forward very clearly. There's always going to be hiccups in a one take.
Well, I'll show my site that I have going right now. This is just creating from scratch.
No, that's good. We want to do this. This is exactly what we want to see. Is exactly the hiccups, so we know where not to go.
Right.
Yeah, this is perfect, Cameron. You're doing a great job.
So next thing I'm going to show is, here's the macro version of the calendar, which the students can see. You can do quick add for events, so if you want to just, throw something in there real quick, date and time, title. If you want to be more in depth about it, you go to add events and assignments. You'll pull an assignment from your assignment pool. This will jump forward in time. And that's basically it. If you've used calendar before, you're pretty familiar with this whole section. The connect section is where you create announcements that are related to the class. You can tab over and add a discussion. So go ahead and do that real quick. Discussion title. Let's call it discussion. Oh, it's not adding. That's annoying. There we go. Alright. So now what we're looking at is when the students can write the posts. We set the times for that. It's not on here right now, but I'll show my other page. You can set up a grade book and decide under which category the students will be graded. So if you say discussions are 20% of your grade, then it's automatically weighted at 20% for the overall grade. And you choose the value for how many points that discussion's worth. You can also attach files that are relevant to the discussion. So if you have a image or video or a document that you want them to look over and discuss, you can go ahead and attach a file there. And so at any time you can go back and edit, doing the managed discussion, see what the students posted, shut down the discussion. By closing it, they won't see it anymore, or lock the discussion so they can still see it, but they can't add anything to it. And the final option is to, download the entirety of the discussion so you have record of what transpired. The other tab here is the Dropbox, and this is where you would add assignments for students and they would submit them to you. And so you get the same box with the title, you get the rich content kind of box right here where you can add images, mathematical symbols, links, and all that. So your due date, set in, show in Dropbox is basically a way for you to show in Dropbox is a way for you to decide whether the students can turn it online or if they have to turn it in person. If you turn that off, then obviously they'll have to print it out and give it to you in person. If you have it show in Dropbox, that gives them the option to submit it to you online. Where it says set up a gradebook, once you have your gradebook set up, you'll be able to assign that, again, a value. So say assignments are worth 40% of your overall grade, you'll give it a numerical value, say 100 points is just a standard, and say there's 400 points total, that's 40% of your grade. I'm going to do the math for you. It's, yeah. You can't really see in here because I can't scroll down on it, but right down here will be where you can add a link or add a document. So just like the discussion, if there's some pertinent sort of information or resource that the students need to complete the assignment, that's where you'd put that there. Inbox is just email, so when the students message you, this is where that will show up. So if you've dealt with email before, you kind of are familiar with this whole process. And the nice thing about Haiku is when you actually sign up for the first time, it walks you through all the elements. So if you ever have any questions about anything that I've said or anything that I might not have covered, that usually does a pretty good job of going over things for you. One of the things I really like actually about this too is the option to poll, so you can actually get a real-time formative assessment of where students are in their understanding of a topic, whether that be in class, in person, or asynchronously. Gives their opinions on things. So simple as adding a poll. You add your question, give your choices. Obviously right here. Use multiple choices. Other, where they can introduce their own, and then decide whether you want it to be anonymous or not. Who can vote, which is really nice. If you want to involve parents in that, you can do that. You can do parents only, students only. I'm actually going to move over to the computer here so I can kind of mess with this more. Or maybe I can't.
It doesn't allow you.
That's interesting.
But you can enlarge.
Oh, yeah. Did I just exit out of that?
Zoom.
So, and the last one obviously is to set up a wiki project of your own. If you've seen wikis before, you're familiar with how this works, where students create content and create their own annotations, add images and whatnot. Haiku also gives you an assessment option. So this is where you create tests. You can create multiple kinds of tests. It doesn't have to be just multiple choice or short answer or anything like that. You can use a combination of multiple choice, short answer, fill in the blank. What we're looking at right now is whether this is an exam or practice. Practice exams obviously meant for students to go through and kind of just go through it at their own pace, at any time. The actual exam is what's worth points. But that doesn't change the way that they're set up. Right now, what we're looking at is the title. The title will be. I'm just going to do test. Add a description here. Define the points. Decide whether it's an extra credit assignment or not. In the separate gradebook, you'll see, say, tests are 30% of your overall score. That's how you'd weight that here. Organized just defines, try to click on this. This gives you information on the exam, so if you ever want to share it, it has relevant information about what the test is geared towards and what grade levels. Now we'll define the exam time limit and the amount of time students are allowed to take the exam. You can make it unlimited minutes. You can define, let's say 60 minutes. You can allow students to take the exam 1 to a limited amount of times. If you want to randomize the questions, you have that option. You also have the option to randomize answers in multiple choice questions, which is generally what you want to do. Obviously, you can read there with the content protection mode, what that does. So now we are in the actual assessment, and we can decide what kind of questions we'd like to add. So as you create a question, it puts that into your question library, so you never have to do double entry on questions. You can just pull from your existing library or import questions from something else. The types of answers it supports is right there under new question. I'm going to do short answer essay because that gives you the greatest flexibility for student response. Now obviously you see right in front of you the rich text editor yet again, which is really nice because you can imprint videos or images or formulas, what have you. I'm just going to be boring and type in instruction. And again, you can attach file, anything that's relevant that you want the students to be able to access as they answer that question, and then categorize the question even if you want to go even further with that. So we'll finish that up, and then what we'll do is we will see if we can practice this assessment here so we can see what we're talking about. Again, some of the other things you might notice are, edit section weight, so you want one section to be worth more than another section. Maybe it's more essay, you want the essays to be worth more than the multiple choice. You can have that option here. You can also get, some micromanagement and define the weight per element by unit. Get out of this. Go to Manage Assessment, and we will go ahead and preview it. And this is what the students will see as they're about to take the exam. It gives them instructions here. You can give them, as you go through and you set the terms, it will automatically prompt the students with, obviously the test is worth 100 points. You can only take this exam once. If you want to, since we defined it as unlimited amount of time to complete the exam, the students can walk away and come back to it later and finish it. And so you see, if students want to skip a question, then obviously it gets that flag there. Students will also be able to see, say they're latecomers, they can view the results and see how their peers did on the test. Now you can hide that if you wish, but it's a nice feature to get students a feel for how difficult the test is or how well they did in comparison to the rest of the class. Alright, so this is the student response section, and as you can see they have the same rich text box here as you did, where they can add images, they can add formulas, they can add hyperlinks, all those great little features there. If they're real savvy, they can embed a video into the source. And so this is obviously something you have to grade by hand. It can't be automated, but for the multiple choice or the fill in the blank or anything like that, that will be automatically graded for you, so you don't have to go back and say, oh, A was right, B is wrong, and so on and so forth. So we'll just type in some gibberish. Be done with that. Okay, I'm finished. And that's a very simple way of demonstrating how the students will take the test. If they wanted to delete their attempts, if they're able to take it more than once, they get the option to do that. Or you can disable that option in the settings, which should be under Manage Assessment. So edit settings right there. This feature right here allows you to change the order. So if you want to change sections, or you want to change, a bulk amount of questions under a new section, you have that option. You can change. This is the sections. I mean, the other one is to randomize. So one I have circled right now is change sections. The other one is to randomize. You can also print off these exams. So, if you wanted to create two different options, you can either take it paper and pencil, or you can take it online. You have that option as well. And yeah, so that's basically that's the very basic version of what Haiku has to offer. You also have attendance, which you're probably using another service like that at your school, but if you didn't, you have that option, to take attendance every day, to add your attendance book, add your grade book, and that's where you define the weights. I'll show you in mine. And then you can also run reports by attendance by student, export your grade book to a CSV, or show scores by the assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my classroom, which looks a little nicer. I've actually changed the template on mine, so mine's a chalkboard. You'll see a little palette in the right hand corner right there. That's where you'll be able to change your templates. May not seem like a really important feature, but I think it's important for students to have a sort of ethereal feel for what they're learning. So obviously there's a lot more content on my page than the page I just showed you. I have my assignments, any upcoming activities, my calendar, description of the class. I added a picture here, and then down here, it's hard to scroll on this thing, so I can't show you. I actually have class links, and at any time I can change my formatting. So say I want to change the page layout, so it's one column, can do that. 2 columns, whatever fits the page. In terms of the functionality, you have that option, and you can do that all without losing any content, which is a really nice feature. Now, there's something I want you to pay close attention to here on the left. Notice these little antenna towers. The orange ones mean that that's published. That means that if I have a student on the site, they can see that page. If it doesn't have that, then they can't see it. It exists, and I can make it active at any point just by touching that. This page we're looking at right now, I can publish from after a certain date or from a certain period of time. Which is a really nice option to automate for you, so you don't have to worry about, oh, did I publish that page yet? You can all just pre-plan that all ahead of time. So as you create more content, you always get a blank template like you saw when we started the other page, and then you can create subpages underneath. So as you add pages, you have the option of making that top level or underneath something. So under topic 1, I've put target A, B, and C. Those are subpages. And then under target A, B, and C, I have more subpages, if I can get it to show up here. So again, with the 3T taxonomy, we talk about topics. Those are broken down to targets, and each target is broken down into tasks. You can see our mini calendar again. You can see by where it says related on the right that we can do, those are just links to other pages within the classroom, or external links to like a website like YouTube or Khan Academy. I have a discussion under targets to discuss whatever the target thing is. The target overview, which is just text that describes it, and then an exam and assessment that you would do after the tasks are completed to demonstrate proficiency with that target. Then you'd move on to the next. But I'll go down another level to the task. Here I've embedded a video from Khan Academy. Super simple. It's just embed the web, select the video, and insert it. So if if a student or you have a account with Khan Academy, you can actually earn points there at the bottom. But that's something we can talk about another time. Let's see. Probably see over here where it says pre-evaluation. That's a feature that I added. That's a poll that students can do, and at the bottom right here where it says no responses is where you would see obviously the responses from other students who have taken that test. At any time I can unpublish this feature, so if I decide that the students aren't ready, or I don't want to do that material anymore, it's overwhelming, I've tried to add too much content, I can always unpublish this page and then use it at some other point in time. Under manage page, under the manage page here, it gives us more options. Change the page settings, change the layout like we saw before. If I want to make it 2 column, 1 column, 3 column, add content block, be text, embed, images, video. We can also move the page. So if I want to move task A under target A to under target B, I click on move page, and then I'll select where I want to insert that. If I want to use this page as a template for another page, I can just copy the page and paste it underneath. We'll say I want the same task for target A as for target B, only a little different. Then I copy the page and then just make my minor edits there. And the final feature is actually to share page, and that allows you to share with other users. So if you wanted to share like a page with me, you have that option as well. Alright, so I'm going to try and wrap this up here. I know I've been talking for a while. My announcement page, my discussion board, my Dropbox, my polls that I have active. And so you can go in and create all these at one time and pull them and just add a content block in any page to just pull them from your library. So every time you think of this as your library, and you can add content here and pull it at any time. The last thing I'll show you is the assessment. And so I have 2 assessments. One's a practice assessment, one's obviously the target review. One's practice, one's an exam. Target review has 2 pages. It's restricted for students, so they can only access it if I give them permission to do it, which is in the form of a code. And so here's my test assessment. You can see the attachment, which is just an image that I happen to have on my computer, and the correct answer. So I think I'm starting to talk in circles now, so I'm just going to show you these few things. So this is, finally I'll leave you with a gradebook, and so this is semester 1, grading period 1. here's all the assignments and assessments that we have for this semester. And what this will do is it will show how many points the students got, what grade that translates into, and any comments that you or they may have. And yeah. Kate, as always, if you ever have any questions with these things, you can always ask me. I'll be more than happy to help you out. I know we covered a lot of content here, and I hope that you're able to keep up just fine. But as always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And with that, I'll sign off. So take care.